So I wanted to go through this yesterday. Margaret Kimberly from the Black Agenda Report shared this with me due to the fact that I'm sharing the campaign to ban facial recognition. And again, you can go to banfacialrecognition.com to sign that petition and to rally your lawmakers to ban facial recognition. It's already happened in 3 cities. It's about to happen in a 4th. Oakland, California has already done it. San Francisco's already done it. Somerville, Mass has already done it. And it looks like Cambridge, Mass is about to get on board. So this is spreading a little bit at a time. For some reason, Massachusetts and the Bay Area were the early adopters, but this is spreading. And why is it spreading? Well, here are some of those reasons. All right, so let's take a look at this. Let me scroll up to the headline. This is what Margaret Kimberly shared with me of the Black Agenda Report. Check out her work. She was arrested at 14. Then her photo went to a facial recognition database. With very little oversight, the NYPD has been using powerful surveillance technology on photos of children and teenagers. Now, first of all, this technology, which the article goes on to explain, is incredibly faulty. And it's in particularly faulty for several groups of people. First of all, people of color, minorities, Black people, other groups, women, and children. It's inaccurate there more often than anywhere else. And how often is it inaccurate? Well, a controlled study in London revealed that it's inaccurate 98% of the time on average. That's inaccurate 98% of the time. Not to mention, these databases are incredibly susceptible to hacking. They've already been hacked by different, there was a border protection database of travel photos that got hacked. So, gee, I don't know. What could happen if a bunch of our photos with our information gets in the wrong hands? A lot of bad could happen. That's not a good thing. Also, there's nothing to indicate. There's no research to indicate that this type of technology makes us any safer. There's nothing to, so far, all we've seen are abuses of this technology, people researching databases without warrants, without probable cause. People, law enforcement has used these databases to find information on an ex. And you've heard me talk about this, but they're doing it on children a lot. And there's no oversight with this. All right, so let's see what's going on here. The New York Police Department has been loading thousands of arrest photos of children and teenagers into a facial recognition database, despite evidence the technology has a higher risk of false matches in younger faces. Children as young as 11 have been included. Several members of the city council, as well as a range of civil liberties groups, said they were unaware of the policy until they were contacted by the New York Times. Oh, and by the way, Bill de Blasio did know about this. Mayor Bill de Blasio, here we go. Mayor Bill de Blasio had been aware the department was using the technology on minors, said Freddie Goldstein, a spokesperson for the mayor. She said the police department followed strict guidelines, sure, in applying the technology, and City Hall monitored the agency's compliance with the policies. I bet. Now, state law does require that arrest photos must be destroyed if the case is resolved in the juvenile's favor, or if the child is found to have committed only a misdemeanor rather than a felony. The photos also must be destroyed if a person reaches age 21 without a criminal record. But we'll see if those rules are actually followed. Gee, I mean, I have a hard time deciding that those rules are for sure being followed when a lot of people didn't even know this was happening. Members of city council didn't even know this was happening. So City Hall was overseeing this thing that some of them didn't even know what's going on. Some of them didn't even know this was happening, but they were overseeing it the whole time. Does that add up to you? No, that doesn't add up to me either. They were overseeing this thing. Don't worry, they're overseeing it. Overseeing what? This thing that they didn't know was happening. I oversee things that I don't know what's happening all the time. I was over. And how far-reaching is facial recognition technology? Well, let's go here next. London could shape the future of facial recognition. What's going on here? On the last day of January, a few of the shoppers and office workers who hurried through Romford Town Center in East London, scars pulled tight against the chill, realized they were guinea pigs in a police experiment. Officers sitting in a parked van nearby were watching them on screens, using a new technology that the police hope will radically reduce crime in London: live facial recognition. Camera station near the Romford train station picked up every face walking past and matched it to a police watch list of wanted criminals. Successful matches would result in immediate arrest. So imagine something like that here in the United States. I mean, not that it's not messed up anywhere. Of course it is. But imagine something like that in the United States where you can get warrants. I mean, there's certain states where you can get a warrant for your arrest for a drinking ticket, maybe public intoxication. If you don't show up in court or you don't pay a certain amount, there could be a warrant out there and you could just be walking down the street and they arrest you instantly. For the smallest of misdemeanors, you could get arrested instantly. That could happen with something like live facial recognition. And again, a homicide detective came out. He's like, this does not keep us safer. This does not help us identify the bad guy better because this technology is so faulty. All it's doing is storing all of this data that can then be hacked, that can then lead to mismatches, which could lead to wrongful accusations, wrongful arrests. It infringes on our right to privacy and infringes on our civil liberties. And for what? For incredibly faulty software that's not going to keep us any safer? I mean, I get it. We always have that battle of, gee, how much privacy do we sacrifice in the name of safety? And is the cost worth the benefit? In the case of facial recognition, the answer is a resounding no. What's the cost? Our information could potentially be hacked. It could be overreached by ICE and law enforcement, and it already has been abused by both of those institutions. It infringes on our civil liberties. It's an incredible overreach. What's the benefit? Absolutely nothing. That we can watch this technology be abused, and it mismatches most of the time. So there's no benefit at all. There's only cost. There's literally no benefit to this. And it needs to be banned. So they have live facial recognition going on in London. And guess what? They're trying to do that in the private sphere to an extent here in the US via Ring and Amazon, which, by the way, another little fun piece of the puzzle here. The private entities that are developing this software, Amazon, Microsoft, are among those in Silicon Valley participating. They can also sell this to private companies who can do whatever they want with it. There's no oversight. And now Ring, which is the doorbell service that films people coming to the door for customers, Ring is in cooperation with 200 law enforcement agencies. And what happens there is the police encourage people to give up all of their footage. Let the police have access to your footage so they can catch bad guys. Here's a little Twitter thread I want to share. Fight for the Future, full disclaimer, that's an organization that I collaborate with. We did a campaign on net neutrality together, and I'm working with them on this campaign to ban facial recognition. Ring is going out of their way to go around the law. They are using the police as their own sales force. Amazon and law enforcement as besties is not good for our democracy. So Ring actually responded to this, and look at those ratios. Good ratio, Ring. Hey there, no user data or even the existence of a camera at a specific location is shared without the prior consent of the device owner. Law enforcement can only see posts that users share publicly. Okay, so that's just a total red herring, first of all. All right. Police can use Ring to conduct dragnet searches by requesting footage from large numbers of camera owners in a certain area. That circumvents the types of democratic conversations we should be having before covering our cities in cameras. All right. For more information regarding our partnership with law enforcement, please read our press release that sugarcoats it. We're not seeing a list of the cities where you have partnerships with police. Will you make the list public, please? All right. We're not going to DM you because these conversations should be happening publicly. That's the whole point. If you're so proud of these partnerships with police, why not publish a complete list of the cities where those partnerships exist and all documents related to them? All right. So basically what's happening here, Fight for the Future is raising the concern that, hey, you guys are partnering up with law enforcement. You're encouraging them to tell customers to release all of their footage, which means you're basically going to have camera surveillance of entire areas of people. And you can just do whatever you want with it. That's not okay. Ring saying, Oh, we don't do anything without consent from people. Yeah, exactly. But we're saying you pressure them into the consent, and it's misleading. That's what Fight for the Future is saying. Ring has no response to that. They have literally no response. And then they say law enforcement can only see posts that users share publicly. That's just a total straw man and distraction. And what that's attempting to do is it's attempting to deflect the blame onto consumers. Oh, no, the only reason there's anything out there is because they share it publicly. That's not true. What you do is you have law enforcement pressure people into giving up this footage. And then they say, oh, no, here's our press release. Let's go further into the tweet here. Here's our press release about our relationship with law enforcement. And then Fight for the Future says, we don't even see a list of the cities, and we're not going to DM you because they should be publicly. Now, is it nice to see Fight for the Future dunk on Ring? Of course. But the fact remains, Ring is doing this. This is dangerous. This is completely undemocratic. This goes against all the values we're supposed to hold dear as Americans, our right to privacy, our right to civil liberties. These are supposed to be American values. Meanwhile, we're letting private companies experiment with facial recognition technology, give it to other private companies, and let law enforcement and ICE do what they will with it. This needs to be banned. Regulation's not enough. It needs to be banned. Once again, go to banfacialrecognition.com, sign that petition. Again, and I'll show it right now. You can go here, and you can sign the petition. Banfacialrecognition.com, sign the petition. Tell your lawmakers that this needs to be banned. Join the 3 cities. I'm hoping Los Angeles can be next. I'm really hoping Los Angeles can be next. All right.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your